Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Is the microphone on? Hello everyone, welcome to Color by Felix. I am very happy that you're here today, and it's been a while, but I wanted to show up on the camera today and talk about what we're gonna do. And also I wanted to thank my patrons who helped me choose the topic. And today we're gonna do something really fun, which I'm excited about, is we're gonna use molding paste to create a masterpiece together. And I just wanted to say this is going to be a fun time, and I want you to get your artistic thing on, whatever it is. You know, a lot of people are buying a bunch of toilet paper on Amazon, and it's like all the stores are running out of that stuff. I decided to buy an artist hat instead. So, you know, I'm stuck inside, painting a lot, having lots of fun. Let's do it together. Let's go over the materials needed for today and just get straight to it. All right, so we need a 16 by 20 inch canvas here. We're gonna use acrylics, my new 24 set of acrylics right here, and I'll show you exactly which colors we need. We're gonna use titanium white, medium yellow, orange, crimson red, ultramarine blue, raw sienna, burnt umber, and lamb black. For brushes, we're going to be using a couple of these blending brushes, two of them. They're both the same. And one I like to use to quickly lay down with water and paint the layers of the paint. And then the second one, I like to quickly blend everything in working dry. Okay, we need two of these. And we need this number 8 brush. This technique where we're going to use light molding paste, we're actually going to be using most of the painting with our palette knife. So we're going to paint most of it with our palette knife, but just in case if I bring out some little details, I want to correct things, I'll be using some of these brushes here, and then I'll show you which ones, okay? So, but mainly we're going to be using our palette knife, all right? So that's what we need as well for today. So I'm going to be using molding paste here, and there's different kind of molding paste. There's molding paste, this is the regular one. There's a light molding paste, which I like to use as well. This is a little bit heavier, and light molding paste, I've used it many times more than this one, but I do like this one as well. What I like about that one is it's very like matte when it's dry, and it's super light, so you get a lot like more texture out of the light molding paste, which is pretty cool. I encourage you to experiment, see what you like. This is, you could see, this is we're probably going to use all of it for a 16 by 20 inch canvas here, but if you have a bigger canvas, we obviously need more of this. Depends on how thick you want your texture to be, right? So it's really up to you. But usually for me, I use the whole bottle for a 16 by 20 because I like to use a lot of it, all right? If I'm going texture, I'm going with using a lot, but you totally don't have to, all right? We need a jar of water, some paper towels, and a palette. And I like to use palette paper. It saves a lot of time because once I'm done, I bunch it up and throw it away. So that's what I'm using today right here. And I think that's it for materials. Also, if you have a hair blow dryer to quickly dry out your first coats, you can use that. That works well to continue adding your layers so that you won't smear the paint around, all right? And so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna quickly sketch everything out, all right? We're not gonna focus on the details because a lot of it's gonna be covered with our palette knife and molding paste. But we do wanna cover the first layer of the canvas, kind of like burnt umber, when you use, I don't know if you took some art classes, but I remember taking art classes in college, and I remember learning to put the burnt umber layers first, and then you work around that and add details and add color and all that stuff, right? So that's kind of what we're gonna do, but we're gonna do it with color, and we're gonna lay out like the shapes and the sky and everything where we want it to be quickly. And then from there, we're gonna mix our colors and use the light molding paste and really start doing the fun stuff, all right? And I wanna encourage you that this you know, this is supposed to be a lot of fun, and it's going to turn out different all the time. Like if I were to do this again, it totally would turn out different. So every time I paint a new piece, it's always going to turn out the way I don't expect it, which is fun and exciting, and I think that is how you grow as an artist. So don't worry about trying to make it look exactly like mine. Have fun with it, challenge yourself, and see what happens. If your shade is a little bit lighter or darker, that's fine. You know, just see what happens. It's not going to be like a realistic painting. It's going to be more of a, you know, like how do you call it, impressionist style, I guess. But really, it's totally up to you, again, how you want to make it look. All right, let's get our first layers down. Our palette and titanium white. And I like to start off with about like 5 different colors. So starting from the lightest, I'm going to squeeze about a couple thumbs amount, maybe, you know, a little less. But let's just say about this much each time. Maybe one more for fun. So you could see almost 2 thumbs there, almost 2 thumbs, and then each time it goes a little less. Something like this. Okay? Now let's pick up the yellow, medium yellow, and then let's add a little bit here. Okay? And a little bit here. All right. And now the orange, let's add a little bit of this orange here and a little bit more here, okay? Crimson red, let's add a touch, very small amount here with the orange, and then a little bit more in here like this, okay? Maybe a little more like this, just a touch right there. And now ultramarine blue, and we're going to add a little bit of it right in here, a small touch, kind of like what we did with the red. And then right here, we're going to add by itself ultramarine blue right there. And then I think what I'm going to do is mix the colors first and then see if I need to add more. And I'm guessing I'm going to add one more, ultramarine blue with a little bit of black in it. But for now, this is good enough. Let's just see what colors it gives us, and then we'll go from there, okay? Palette knife, and let's mix our lightest color. I like to start with my lightest first, so that I won't carry the darks to my light colors. It's going to be a bright yellow, you know, simple sunset sky, colorful sky. I don't like my skies to be plain. I like them to have some color in them. I'm all about the colors, so I think it catches the eye. All right there. Now, this should be leaning towards orange. I'm going to add some orange to our sky. Okay, that's nice. Right there. And then this should be even, you know, leaning towards red now. Like a darker orange, leaning towards red. Quickly mix it. Remember, this part doesn't have to be perfect because this is just the base color, okay? These are base colors. Like this. And our next color should be a darker color. But since we added a touch of blue in it, it makes it look a little bit more of purplish. But it's still red, you could see. It's like a hot pink color. All right, that's good. And then I'm gonna use part of this and maybe even take part of the, so that I won't carry the darks, I'm gonna clean my palette knife real quick. Right there, like this. And I'm gonna take part of this white here. Okay, part of it, maybe less actually, like this. all right, and then bring it here so that I can lighten, make it a bit lighter. But I wanna see some blue in my sky, like this. That's nice. Okay, not much, but it's good enough. All right, I think that's good enough. So this is our sky color. It's gonna cover a little bit more than half our canvas here, and we're gonna create a transition from lightest. This area is gonna be lighter. We're gonna pretty much have the sun be somewhere around here, you know, and it's gonna be lighter here going into the darker colors here. All right, that's the plan. Let's see what happens. Let's pick up one of our blending brushes, doesn't matter which one, and our water jar, dab it in the water all the way, okay, and then squeeze it, not all the way, but like maybe halfway, so there could be a little bit of water still in there, but it's not dripping like this, all right? And so every time, basically, because this process is going to be a little bit fast, so work a little bit faster so that the paint won't dry on you so quickly, all right? So that's why I use the water here. I don't use any mediums to my acrylics. I like to use them straight as they are. It works the best with water, in my opinion. But see what works best for you. But just so you know, I have a little bit of water in there, and every time I say I'm dabbing my brush, I'm seriously just dabbing just the tip of my brush, all right? Like this, not too much water. So when I say I'm dabbing my brush, that's what I'm doing, all right? So I have a little bit of water in there, and now we can pick up our first color, which is white. Let's just start with our lightest color. Take that white, don't be shy, like this, and then let's just add it somewhere in here, okay? Let's just randomly add it. You can see I have water in my paint, so it feels very smooth into my canvas. I'm not gonna take all my white, just gonna add it real quick here. Now I'm gonna dab my brush in the water, pick up my next color, this yellow, all right, and I'm gonna put it maybe on the bottom right here, and maybe on top of this white, like this. Leave the white in there, and then take more of this yellow and add it right on top right here. Maybe bring it down and fade it out. That's good. Dabbing my brush in the water lightly and taking the next color, which is the orange, and taking that color, not worried about, you know, making it too perfect, and just dabbing my brush in the water so it can run smooth. Taking more of the paint, and let's blend it all in. I'm gonna dab my brush in the water again, maybe take a little bit of the yellow and bring it down right in here somewhere, like this. Dabbing my brush in the water again, and now I'm gonna take this darker orange and add it right on top, like this, somewhere in here, all right? Dabbing my brush in the water, maybe mixing them both, whatever. It doesn't have to be perfect. Right there. That's good enough right there. All right. Dabbing my brush in the water, taking that red, darker cherry color right here that we have mixed, and let's add that on top right in here. Let's cover that. I want to make my sky look red. Dabbing my brush in the water again, and I'm going to add it right in here on top, like this. Maybe add some right in here. And that's it. Now I'm going to dab my brush in the water and use that final color here that we have mixed. It's leaning towards blue, and just put it everywhere. Dabbing my brush in the water, taking more of this color, right, and spreading it. You're supposed to, you know, feel the canvas, that it's soft. You can see it's running very smooth and soft. That's what you want, all right? And we'll quickly add that in like this, all right? That's good enough. Just make a really quick blend like this. Now I'm gonna put my brush in the water, pick up my dry blending brush, and now work dry, okay? So my second blending brush, I'm gonna blend these colors in. So first I'm gonna just go like this. You see how nice that works? Look at that. Even if you have some orange coming in, that's fine. That's, you know, to the white. That's fine, but we want a nice blend. That's fine if there's some pink in the white, but if you don't want it to do that, you can start blending. This is where you can start blending a little bit more, so you won't carry too much of that darker colors. Like for example here, I'm going to start blending that upwards. And I'm barely pressing the canvas, all right? I'm barely pressing. Barely, you could see. And remember, this part doesn't have to be perfect because it's all going to be different once we add the molding paste, all right? So don't spend a lot of time on this. Let's just quickly put that first layer and blend it all in. This just gives us an idea of how we want it to look. All right, something like this. Very fast blend. Like I said, this is just the base, so don't spend too much time on it. I'm probably even already spending a lot of time on this. It's all going to be covered anyway. I just want to cover the canvas texture from the background like this. All right, I'm happy with it. It looks good. It's now our first layer of the background is done. I'm gonna cover something here real quick and we will start using the molding paste. Now before I clean my brushes, I'm gonna quickly dry this out and then sketch out my big rocks here and like the desert's kind of scene here, how we want it to look, just to get the shape of it real fast, and then we'll clean the brushes, let this dry, and then start doing that, all right? Our background is dry, and I have some paint left over here. I'm not gonna let it go to waste, so what I'm gonna do is bunch some of these up together and take some of this, put it maybe in here, take this too, put it in here. Let's see what else I can do. I'm gonna leave this orange and I'm gonna leave these colors here, but I'm gonna add to this, I'm gonna add raw sienna here onto this color. Let's quickly do that. Okay, so I added raw sienna right here, and then burnt umber and lamp black right here. Let's quickly mix that up. Remember, this is our base, so it doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to get the shapes and everything put in place and cover our first layer, the canvas. So I'm going to take part of this for fun and mix it in. This will be our darkest to play with. Okay, so it's leaning towards brownish color. That's what we want. Okay, that's good enough right there. And I think what I'm going to do is combine. Actually, I'm going to leave it. So I'm going to leave these colors, and if I need something, I'm going to probably just mix them around because this part's not that important, okay? Basically, we just outlining, even if you used one color outlining your shape, that's good enough, all right? But I like to add a little bit of color, totally up to you. So that these colors won't go to waste. I'm going to use them up, all right? So let's do that. Remember to clean your palette knife every time you're done using it so it won't dry up. Let's pick up our flat brush first and dab it in the water so it can be nice and damp. And let's just use, maybe take a little bit of the white and mix it in with this leftover blue here. And let's add that far away. Let's just pretend there is like far away, little rock far away in there, right? So I'm going to dab it in the water so it can run smooth. And remember, we're going to redo this again. So something like this. So maybe even use some yellow because this is far away. It doesn't have to be perfect. So something like that. Okay. You could see it looks a little messy. That's fine. That's good. All right, next, let's use this brown color here and let's add another I think I'm going to make it, let's first add the two big ones. I want the two big ones here. So first, I think I'm going to have the big one go about as high as, I'm going to make him start right here and kind of go down, have it maybe fade out right in here, maybe even higher, who knows. And I'm just shaping it out first to see how I want it to look, right? Something like this. So this big, big rock. Dab it in the water. All right, and then here, I want another big one. Maybe this one is going to be a little bit, you know, going off right here. Maybe it comes down and then it goes just a little bit higher than that one. Let's use the darker one. And remember, you see, that's why I am adding the background. You can see it's a little bit too dark, so I might, when I mix my color with my molding paste, I might make it lighter. But this gives me a good idea what I need to do when I add the molding paste. Okay, something maybe like this, and let's just bring it down. Maybe there's a little bump here, and then it fades out. So something like that. And then this further one, I want to add it right here and then kind of gradually get up, kind of like what we did with that one, and have it go up, maybe up somewhere in here, have it come down. Right, and then let's use a little bit of this blue again, and let's continue from this mountain. Let's just continue, add a little bit of white so it won't be too dark. Continue, maybe there's some further away, some further ones. Okay, something like that. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up my number 8, dab it in the water, and I'm going to color everything in for fun. Now I'm going to start with the darks. Let's just start with this darkest color here. Let's just add that like right in here. Quickly add it. Don't worry about making it perfect. Dab it in the water, and maybe the light is hitting onto this rock, but it gets dark right in here, and then maybe it fades out right in here. Okay. Okay, this is just our first layers. We're covering our canvas and getting the idea how we want it to look, right? So just cover everything in with this darker color in water. Okay, something like this. You could see it's very rough. That's totally fine. Now let's go to the lighter color here, this one, and fill in those areas here. And I think I'm going to go to the orange, maybe darker orange actually. Mix it in with this so it won't blend in with the background too much. Okay, maybe even add some yellow into it, who knows. There's a little bit of some color in here. All right. Very quick, rough sketch. Let's do that in here. Let's add this darkest color on this side. Remember, the light is hitting, so your left side of the mountain, of the rocks, they're going to be darker. That's what I'm basically doing. Let's add some orange. quickly. All right, something like that. And let's do this one real quick. So the darkest color, and let's just add that up in here. Dab my brush in the water so it can run smoother, and quickly blend all of it in. Okay, maybe add that orange in here. And maybe dab my brush in water and use maybe part of the white and yellow to get the background colors in. Do that same thing here, maybe even add orange. This is not necessarily important to have it perfect, okay? We just want our background to be covered. All right, let's see. Now, let's bring this color, dabbing my brush in the water again with white and this yellow. Let's just bring that in, cover everything in, and let's quickly bring it in here. So dabbing my brush in the water again with the white and the yellow, and whatever color it gives me. I just want a lighter color here. All right, and then here I'm going to use some orange for fun. Maybe some brown. Right in here, and then some more of this color. Who knows? Just quickly sketch it all in. All right, and now the darkest color. Take it all of this darkest color and put it all on the bottom here. Randomly. Cover it all. Cover all the canvas. Okay, so now that we have a rough sketch, I'm going to quickly blend it in using one of my blending brushes. So I'm going to squeeze out the water. So squeeze the water gently, all of it, and then dry it off like this gently, and swirl it onto your paper towel lightly, like this. Get most of the water out. All right, don't press too hard. You don't want to damage your brush, but this is how you get it to fluff up back again, okay? Get most of the water and it's fluffy again. It has a little bit of the water, but that's okay. We want it to be in there anyway because water helps to move the paint and make it more softer look. So why I'm doing this right now is because it evens out, you know, everything. It like covers all the cracks in your canvas and really, you know, makes it look smoother. But this is basically it, you know, I'm covering everything, so I just want to cover my whole canvas with this because it'll be a lot easier to work with once I start adding light molding paste. So you can see it starts to make everything look softer, more blendier. You could see that's what we want. Okay, rough sketch like this. We're going to obviously add more details to it. But that's it. That's all you have to do. There you go. We covered our whole canvas with color, our first base color, right here. And now we can clean our brushes, let this dry. Once we're done, it should be pretty much dry, and then we can do the fun part. and go over everything with a palette knife and some color and create some beautiful texture. All right, our canvas is dry here. I got a new water and I cleaned my brushes so that they won't sit in the water too long. And I also got a new paper palette because I want to start from a clean slate so that we can have, now that I'm working with molding paste right here, we are gonna have bigger piles. So I want to, you know, make sure I have more space. So we got that ready to go. We can now do the same thing pretty much, except we're going to be adding this. So what I like to do first is obviously pick up your palette knife, because most of this process right now, laying down the colors, is most of it is we're going to be working with our palette knife. All right, so my palette knife is pretty bendable, so prefer, you know, there's some palette knives that are very stiff and hard to work with, but this is pretty bendy. You know, I like it bendy because you could move it around easy, and it just works better, and also it's easier to mix. So that's what I'm using. I think any palette will give you an interesting kind of texture and effect. Depends how it's looking, right? So it's totally up to you, but this is the kind I'm using right here. And we're gonna take the molding paste here. You can see how thick it is and nice. And we're gonna be adding it right here in the corner. This is very nice and thick right here. And then I'm gonna keep taking more. So I'm gonna probably use about this much. You can see it's a lot, right? And I'm gonna create like probably 4 different shades right now. So do the same pile here. I know it looks a lot, but we're going to use it all and it's going to be fun. Instead of using a lot of paint, that's what you do to get that nice texture. Okay, right there. And about the same piles, and if we need to, we'll add more later. But I think around the same amount on everything. So you can see I have 4 shades, about the same amount, right? Let's start with that first and do the same thing, titanium white, and you don't need that much paint actually. So you need like maybe a thumb amount of white here, maybe, you know, a little bit more here, a little bit less here, and so forth. So about the same white on everything, and then medium yellow. Let's add that a little bit right in here. Not too much, about this much, and maybe here as well, about this much right here. That's good. Okay. Now let's pick up the orange and squeeze part of it out right here. I'm not gonna add orange here. I'm just gonna add it on that one pile. We're gonna do it a little bit differently. And we're gonna go straight to crimson right here, and squeeze a little bit out here, not too much, okay, like this. And I'm going to add a little bit of ultramarine blue to that one, and for now it will be good, and then we'll mix these colors and see how it looks. So ultramarine blue, a little bit in here, okay, about this much. That's good enough right there. All right. You could see it doesn't have to be exactly the amount like mine, but this is, I'm just showing you what I'm doing here. And let's mix it all and see what it gives us. And then if we need to add more, whatever color we want to our sky, we will do that. So let's start with the lightest and mix that white all in with this thick molding paste here, right? It's gonna be white and clear. Mix it all in nicely. Okay, that's good enough. You know, take your time. Don't take too long actually, but you know, make sure it's all mixed in nicely. Next, has a little bit of yellow in it, so it's gonna, you could see, start to be turning all yellow. it usually mixes pretty quickly and fast. That's good enough right there. Okay, next. A lot of thick paint. Okay, that's good right there. A beautiful orange color. And our final color here, let's see what it gives us. I basically want it to be a little bit lighter. That's why I didn't add too much of the blue and red, because I want it to be a little bit lighter than I have here, because this is nice. It's nice, but it's a little bit dark. I don't want it to be too dark. So that's nice. So obviously we're going to create more shades, but for now, with these colors, we're going to use them all up quickly, and then we'll add some more right here. And the fun part begins. So I clean my palette knife, and I'm going to start with the lightest color. So let's pick some of this white like this, right? And we're going to add some, don't be shy, add it all in here. Even if you cover a little bit of the mountain, that's fine. Okay, let's just add that white, make it nice and, you know, colorful. Okay, and that's how you work. You just add the white where you want it to be, maybe skip some areas because we're going to add some yellow in there. You know, let the white go a little bit away here. Let's add some maybe in here. Maybe it goes like this. Okay. Let's add a little bit more in here. Okay, something like that. So a little more. Okay, maybe in here and maybe in here. Okay, like this. All right. And we'll obviously add more later, but for now that's good. Let's just go to this yellow now and cover the yellow areas. Okay, it's okay if it mixes in, all right? That's the point. We want it to make it look, you know, interesting. We don't want it to make it look perfect, all right? You know, like we blended our sky right now. It looks perfect and nice and smooth, but we kind of don't really want that, honestly. We want it to play around with your palette knife, create beautiful textures and transitions. So something like that, okay? And continue with the yellow. Let's add some in here. All right, up to this rock. It's okay if you're covering part of the rock. We'll do that later. Let's add some right on the bottom, right in here. And it's okay if you're covering that mountain. Again, it's just a sketch to give us the idea. All right, let's continue. I want some of that yellow in here. Okay, like that. Maybe a little bit underneath here. and a little bit in here. And then let's add some in here on top. Very fun. This is a lot of fun. Okay, and then maybe some in here. Okay. I think I'll stop right there and I'll add some of it later. But let's move to the orange. And let's add, actually, I'm going to take part of the orange in this and add it right on the bottom here. Because I want it to have a little bit of that orange glow, right? But not too much of that darker orange. And I'm going to add it right on the bottom right here, cover this area. Something like this, all right? Same thing, do the same thing, a little bit of orange and this yellow, and let's add some in here. Some yellow, basically covering the canvas. And I think that's good right there. And if you didn't cover everything, that's why we painted the background. Instead of the white showing, you're gonna have the colors showing from behind. So it won't that's why we added that, right? So let's do a little bit more of this orange and yellow right in here. Okay, and then maybe some yellow here. We want a nice transition. Okay, now let's just play with the orange. Let's add that orange in here. Maybe those are part of the clouds, you know? Take part of the yellow and orange. Let's cover this area. Make it look like abstract clouds or something, right? Let's add some orange in here. I want this to be all orange right in here. It's okay if you mix it with the yellow in the background, all right? We have more yellow if we need to. We'll cover it. I'm going to bring this orange, maybe even some in the high up in here. Like I want it to stand out. I want, it to be kind of bright, not too dark. So I'm going to leave it there because I'm going to add the darker purple, around here. So I'm going to take part of the yellow here and kind of mix it around here, like this. Okay, let's continue with the orange, because I want to add that in here on top. Okay, so a little more. Okay, and then here I'm going to add some white actually. So some yellow and a little bit of white. And I want to make this bright. Maybe there's a bright yellow and white glow going on there, right? So just the yellow now, and cover all these little background colors here. Just put it all in like this. All right. Okay, let's continue with orange and yellow. Fun, it's like making a cake. Some more of that yellow, and I think I'm going to add it a little bit in here. Mix it in here. Back to the orange. So I'm going to take part of the yellow here, maybe. Add it in more in here. And then some yellow and orange going on in here. All right, maybe a little bit of white. Maybe there's some white in here. White clouds. Make sure you get the edges. Okay, maybe a little more white going up like this. Maybe there's a cloud. This darker cloud right here is going to be in here. So don't be shy to add more of the lighter colors. All right, so I'm going to use a little bit more orange. Maybe in here and in here. All right, I have a little bit left here, but I'm going to use this color now, our darkest color that we have mixed, and cover it with this color. Beautiful. See, it's a lot lighter. I like it. It's a lot lighter. That's what we want. I didn't want it too dark. So maybe add a little bit of this cloud, the areas where you didn't cover. Okay. Have fun with this. Don't be afraid to add it wherever you want. So let's continue adding this color, but I'm going to do something fun too. I want I want one more color in my sky for fun. So I'm going to leave some of these areas empty, and I'll show you what I'm going to leave. So I'm going to add a little more in here. Right? Take all of it. Mix it in with your other colors. Okay. Fade it out right there. Now I want to add another color, and what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of Ultramarine Blue, and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing, because I think it would be really cool to have this like a lighter blue shade into our sky. So I added Ultramarine Blue, and I'm going to take part of, so I'm going to try to get most of this. I'm going to take part of this white, mix it in with this Ultramarine Blue, and take a little more so it won't be too strong, but like this. I'm going to add that blue, that beautiful blue. It'll be a nice transition. So I'm going to take part of this, right, this lighter blue, and I'm going to add some maybe in here. Like maybe there's some blue showing, right? So I'm going to do the same thing maybe in here, right? Mix it all and cover the areas where you didn't cover. See right here, for example, right? So maybe even add some in here. Just take that blue and maybe even add some in here. A transition between. Take all of it and maybe add a little bit in here. It's okay. If it turns a little bit green too, that would be cool. So now I'm going to take all the yellow here and kind of cover the areas where I missed, right? Take all of it. I don't want to let it go to waste. So maybe in here. And then what I'm going to do, another thing is I'm going to add a touch of black to my darkest color, just a touch, and I'll show you exactly. Because as it goes up, it gets a little bit darker, and I want that there. I want that in my sky. So I added a touch of black right here, very easy. And I'm going to use this, mix it all in, and it's going to give me a darker color right here. All right, and basically I just want a darker color for my final layers on top here, and take it all and cover it all with this darkest color. Okay, so you'll have some nice transitions going on in your sky already. You can kind of see what's going on. Or maybe right in here. Maybe a little bit in here. Okay. So now I'm going to use whatever I've got left and kind of add a little bit in my sky. Blend the blues with the orange, so it won't be, so you'll get a hint of it, you know what I mean? All right. In here, I want to add a little bit more orange here, kind of mix it in. Blend it out. I want to make sure I cover everything, and I like how everything's turning out, right? So you could see, you kind of see like a more lighter area right in here, like a sunset kind of going into the darker area, right? That's what we were aiming for. Now yours will probably gonna turn out different, a little bit different than mine, but that's okay. That's the fun part. That's the fun part about using light molding paste and texture. It's always gonna turn out different, right? So you can play around with the colors, maybe even add some pink, mix your pink in there, and you can add some pink in your sky if you wanted that, right? So I'm going to use a little bit more of the leftover white here and kind of make adjustments. And if you're happy with how yours turned out, you can move on to the next part. Okay, but I want to add this area a little bit more lighter. That's what I'm adding. Maybe even going in here. make it a little bit more lighter. Okay. And the top right here. I'm going to add a little bit of the white in here. There you go. All right, I'll be done with my sky. I like it, you know, I think it's good enough. Now let's continue doing the same kind of idea, but with the bottom part right here. So once you're done with your sky, you can continue on. And I always like to work from the furthest distance up to the closest. So we got our sky done. Now let's get the far mountains here, or the rocks, right? Far. Remember this? We added some here, and then we're gonna add this rock here, and then obviously, you know, this ground right here, and then these rocks will be kind of last, and then right here up close will be our finisher. All right, so let's just I don't want to waste this paint, so I'm going to use this white, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right in here. So take all of it, and I'm going to add some Ultramarine Blue and Crimson Red, just a touch, and I'll show you exactly how much. And I don't want to make it too dark. I want to make it lighter color, kind of like, you know, what we have here going on, right? Because they're further away, so I want it to lean more towards the blue. Okay, so right here, you can see I added a touch of blue and crimson red. And now I'm gonna mix that in really quick. And if it's too dark, I'm gonna add some white. And it looks a little too dark to me, so I guess I'm gonna do that. Okay, it's a little dark, so I'm gonna add some white right here. Okay, and I'm gonna mix all that in. Okay, and it's leaning towards pink more, so I'm going to move that right in here and add a little more blue actually instead of red. So add a little bit more ultramarine blue right there, and let's mix that. That's much better. That's the color I want right there. You see, it's like a nice violet color, right? So we have that, and what I'm gonna do is pick up some more of this molding paste. So I'm gonna clean out my palette knife so I won't carry the colors in too much. So I'm gonna take part of it, right, like this, and add it to, not a lot, just one scoop is good enough. And always close your lid. You don't want, you know, it to dry out, right? So close your lids and see, and then just mix all that in together. That just doubles the amount of paint. It feels very thick, so you know, it's heavy and thick. That's good right there. All right, so I'm gonna take part of this and I'm gonna add my little, you know, mountains or rocks here, the far away ones. So I'm gonna randomly add it and have it fade out like this. right? Maybe make one bigger right in here. All right, now it's a little bit light, so I'm going to add a little bit of a touch of black. So I'm going to add a touch of black, and I'll show you exactly how much. So you can see a small touch of black. Take part of this, mix it in with the black, so it could look a little grayish, maybe a little more. That's good right there. So take part of that, and let's add some details. Maybe, you know, maybe the light is hitting some of these on the bottom right here. Remember, the light is, I'm adding a darker color more on the left side, but I think that's good right there. All right. And of course you could add, maybe for fun, a little bit of white. For fun. A couple lines like this. That's good enough. All right, so we got our faraway rocks done. Now we can continue. See how easy that is? Now we can continue and work on this. So let's mix some color for that. So I won't let this go to waste, so I'm going to take all of this. Let's put it right in here, and this as well. Mix it all in, doesn't matter. Like this. And let's add raw sienna and burnt umber. So I just, right here, raw sienna and burnt umber. A little bit of both. And then burnt umber and lemon black. And then raw sienna and medium yellow right here, right? And I'm gonna use molding paste again. Take a scoop. And I'm gonna add it on, you know, each. I'm gonna do two scoops on each, all right? And if we need to, we'll add more later. But for now, let's just use 2 scoops. You could see right there. Okay, let's mix it. It doesn't really matter how much you add. You could even add more if you want. Totally up to you. Okay, just mix all that in nicely. And let's just mix this one. I should have started with the lighter color, but that's all right. That'll do. That's good right there. And our darkest color here. Okay. And we'll be ready to draw our second furthest rock. There you go, 3 shades from darkest to lightest. We might even add more, but for now we're just adding the, you know, covering our canvas and adding 2 to 3 different colors first, and then we'll come back maybe like with the brushes that I showed you. We'll come back and maybe add some little highlights and details, but that's you know, later on. We'll see what happens, all right? So let's just use what we got here right now. So I'm looking at this. I took a step back. Sometimes it helps doing that, and I see that this is maybe a little too blue. So what I'm gonna do is, actually I have a little bit of this gray left. I'm gonna take maybe even part of this, mix it in. I'm going to dim it down a bit with another color. Same thing here. You know, dim it down. Some of it can show, you know, that's fine, but I just don't want it to be too blue here. I think I overdid it, and that's fine. Maybe even add a little bit of this color right here on the bottom. Right? And here as well. Okay, that's good. That's much better. I'm happier with that. Okay, not too strong, but you could still see a little bit of the blue, all right? Okay, so now let's start off with the darkest. Let's just start off with this darkest color here. Make sure it's all mixed in. In fact, I think I want to even make it darker. So what I'm going to do is actually add lamp black, and I really want to make it stand out. So I added a little bit more right here. You could see a touch more. Mix it all in. I want these rocks to really stand out. These canyons, or whatever you want to call them. Okay. There you go. So let's start off with the darkest. So take all that and let's sketch it out. Let's have it, you know. So right here, I'm gonna probably have it come down. And have it fade in somewhere in there. So I'm gonna gradually go up here. And probably go as high as this. And then probably gonna cover it, all this dark up to this point. Maybe have it come down like this. Okay. So now I'm going to second to the darkest color right here that we have mixed. I'm going to add that next to it. Probably have it go down like this. And then the lightest color, I'm going to come back with the lightest color and add more details to my rocks later. But I'm going to add a little bit because of the light hitting that rock, right? I want to make it stand out a bit. So I'm actually going to use this color here. Continue on. Maybe even use the darker color. And draw a little faraway landscape like this. Like that, okay? And same thing here, maybe mix these two in, and right on the bottom here. And then add this lighter color here. We might even have to make a lighter color. Yeah, so we'll do that. But for now, I think it's fine. Let's just use what we got and then all right, so you can start to see some shapes coming together nicely. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add more black here because now I'm getting closer to details. But before I do that, actually, I'm going to mix another color, one more color, because I want to make a color that is a little bit lighter, like more leaning towards lighter white color, tan color, right? So I want to add it right in here. So that's what I'm going to do real quick. So white and raw sienna right here. Just a little bit of that, and then let's do like 3 scoops of this molding paste. 3 nice scoops. Maybe even 4. Let's do 4. Close the lid. So right here you could see, mix it all in. Let's see what it gives us. Yeah, I like that. That's much better. Basically, it's a lighter color now, you know. I want to make my ground, some of the areas lighter. Okay. Next, what I did was I added a lot of black, like 3 thumbs amount of black, you could see, and like 5 scoops of molding paste, a lot, as you could see, because I'm going to be covering a lot of the shadows and darks as we get closer, which will cover more areas in here and stuff, right? And then to this I added crimson red and like 3 scoops or 2 scoops, big ones, of molding paste. So I'm going to quickly blend it all in together and see what it gives me. And then the reason why I add crimson red, because I want my, you know, rocks to have that glow, that like red, you know, oops, I got some on my fingers. That's all right. It can get a little messy. That nice like red glow from the sun, right? Because it's evening and the light is hitting it, you know, some of these rocks, and they just like burn with color and red, so that'll be nice between these 2 colors. So let's quickly mix our darkest color right here. Mix it all in, and it's just going to be a very dark brown color, almost leaning just towards black. Okay, that's what we want. We want a nice dark color right there. All right, let's continue, and we're going to continue covering this area. So let's add some of this lighter color that we have mixed. Okay, and I want to add it right on some of this areas right in here. Okay, it's not going to be perfect. We want to make it look interesting. So I'm going to have it right here. And then some on this side. Have it fade out, basically. And let's use a little bit of this yellow. Maybe some yellow in here. Okay. And then this color, a little bit of this red. Okay, make little lines, because that's what makes your painting look like there's a flat surface, like a, you know. So just add some of those lightly in there. Okay, maybe use some of this yellow here. Back to the lighter color. Okay, something like that. You could see a nice transition. Alright, now that we're getting closer here, I'm going to use a little bit of this and maybe mix it in with the red. Add it in here, like this. And then mix it in with the lighter color here. Something like that. And make a little bump here. Take all of this, it's okay, we can mix some more. And add it in right in here. Okay, that's where the light is hitting and shining through. And it fades out into this red color. So mix both of those in. Okay. Take more of this lighter color. Roughly put it in there like this. Okay. Now let's continue adding more of this reddish color here. And this lighter color, kind of blend it in together. I'm going to come around and add more in here. So I'm mixing both now. Something like this, all right? So I'll, right now, since I ran out of this color, I want to add a little bit more. So I'm going to add some raw sienna and some yellow and a couple scoops of molding paste. Okay, right here. You see I added about the same amount, and just mix all that in. Okay, and don't worry about having it exactly. We just want it to be like a lighter brown color. Something like this. There you go. That's good. Right there. So now I'll finish this area up later, right here, but let's quickly sketch out our two left rocks here. So I'm going to clean my palette knife so I can get all the light color out of there. And we're going to start with the darkest right here. Remember, we have mixed. Let's take all that and let's start with this one. Let's sketch it out the way we want it. So don't be shy about how much to put. Just take some, maybe here it's at an angle like this. And then it maybe even take some of this red. Maybe there's some further ones away. Like that, something like that. Okay, go back to the black and cover that. All right, let's move on and continue sketching out. Now, I'm going to draw these lines. You know how the layers of rocks, they have these like lines on them, so I'm gonna do that on these ones. Go all the way, maybe have it fade out right there, and then maybe another line here. And another little one right in here. And let's continue sketching. Maybe it goes down here, comes back up. I want this one to be the tallest. Okay, and then here. A little bump, and let's continue bringing it down. And as we come down, we make it wider. Let's make this a little taller. Okay, and then here I'm going to have it come down and kind of fade out right in here somewhere. Cover some of this area a bit. And then here. All right, now let's go back to this color, this reddish color, remember, and start adding some red in the areas where we didn't add the black, all right? And it's okay if you blend a little bit of both colors together, okay? You know, play around with the colors. And I think I'm gonna stop right there, because then it gets lighter here. Actually, I'm gonna add one more red inside here, and then a little bit in here. Like, I want this to be the darkest area. Add a little bit red in here. Maybe some black, because there might be a little rock in here. somewhere. Okay, like that. So let's go back to the black, and I'm going to cover some of this, I thought, too. Let's add the red in here. More red, actually. And a little bit more black, basically covering everything in here. All right, so before we go on to the next, rock here, let's add some of this lighter color right here. And let's add it right on the edge right here. Lightly, I'm barely pressing, okay? We're gonna add some texture right along here because we want that rock to glow. Like this, okay? So take more of it and cover the areas where you didn't fill in. So maybe even add a little bit of the lines going this way. Okay, and I think I'm going to do that right and onto this one. Blend it in with the dark color. Okay, and then maybe there's some highlights in here. Okay, that's good for now. Let's continue covering this area. So I'm going to use a little bit of the black and kind of cover the remainder of the ground. Okay. So maybe take a little bit of the red. Go back to the lighter color right here because we want to keep it light in here. Maybe even some yellow. Add a few of those highlights in there. All right, that's good for this for now. Let's come back. Let's finish up in this area right here. So let's go back to the darkest color here and do the same idea. Remember, start from this corner. Now I'm gonna have it come down here and go up a little bit in here. And first I'm gonna sketch it out. Do the same thing, draw your lines. Maybe this one's going up like this a bit. And then I'm gonna have it come up all the way up in here. Have fun with this. Place it, go as high as you want, and you know, as much detail as you want. And the light is going to be hitting this side, so I'm going to have it come down like this. But first I'm going to finish sketching it out. My rock. Okay, go back to the red and let's do the same idea. Cover the areas where you left out quickly. And a little bit in here. Used all that red. Let's use part of the black again and cover the areas I didn't cover. Okay, now let's go back to this color here and let's add the highlights to our rock. Bring it at an angle right here. Maybe these rocks are closer. Go back to the lightest color here and kind of fill in the bottom area right here. And go back to the darkest and cover the rest. And maybe even add some ones, some of them, maybe this one has a little rock right in here. Alright, once you're done playing with the colors you have, I covered everything. Now I'm going to add the highlights a little bit brighter. And so what I did was I add titanium white and yellow and a couple scoops of molding paste, right? And I'm going to mix that in, and we're going to get a very bright color here. Mix it all in. And I have leftover color here, so I'm going to take part of it, mix it in, dim it down, maybe even take some of this a little bit, right? Dim it down a little bit. I don't want it to be too bright, but brighter than these two colors basically. Okay, that's good right there. And we're going to use this color as a final color to add the highlights and use our palette knife. And I thought about using my brushes, you know, but I'm just going to work with my palette knife and finish it off this way. So it will make it more fun, I think, to keep it consistent everywhere, you know. But it's totally up to you. So take part of it, you know, part of this brighter color, and let's just add it, you know, go back over and lightly, barely touching, you know, and adding that brighter highlight where we added the, you know, bring it down like this. Have it come down here. Right? Because of the light. Hit the top of these rocks. And I'm barely pressing. Okay. Let's add a few in here. That's good enough right there. Maybe right here on this side. Even put it on the ground, some areas. Okay, continue. Let's add it right in here. These rocks right here. Okay. And a little bit in here. And a few little sparkles of light on the ground here. And let's do the same thing on this one. Right along the edge here. I want to add it brighter. And of course, these rocks right here. Okay, I'm not going to go in here too much. This is more of a shadow area. But I'm going to use the same color and kind of go inside and add some in here. Like that, not too much, as you could see. And if you overdid it, that's fine. You just go back to either this color or the black or whatever color you have left and correct some. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Like for example right here, I want to dim it down just a little bit like that. And a little bit on top of this rock here. There you go. Okay. And I think I'll be done. Now I could use straight black and maybe add a little bit of the red to really darken my edges here, my left side if you wanted it. But I'm pretty happy with it, how it looks. Okay, so you know, here it is. This is a quick, you know, kind of an idea of how I do use my molding paste and paint to create textured art like this. And you could see an image there, but it's not real like detailed, but it's more about the impasto, the effect, the paint and texture, right? That's the beauty of this artwork. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for being here and tuning in. Be sure to let me know what you thought down below in the comments and give it a thumbs up. And also stay tuned for more. Thank you guys for being here. Take care and God bless.